Hi everybody, I'm Kat Scheffler and this is Cox Talks, a channel for beginner to intermediate coxswains. Today we're going to go over calling a pick drill and a reverse pick drill. Those are two standard drills and how to make those calls switching through sets of rowers. So really quickly, if you aren't sure what numbers correspond to each seats in the boat, you do need to be clear on that in order to call switches. So when you are in an 8, coxswains sit in the stern of the boat, to the back of the boat, and the seat closest to you is 8 seat or stroke seat, and the numbers descend going away from you. Another way of thinking about it is that the bow of the boat starts with 1 seat, what we call that bow seat. We never call it 1 seat. So bow seat, and then coming towards you, it's 2 seat, 3 seat, 4 seat, 5 seat, 6 seat, 7 seat, and then stroke seat. In a 4, we can either have a stern loaded 4 or a bow loaded 4. Stern loaded 4 is going to be like the 8, where the bow of the boat starts with 1 seat, 2 seat, 3 seat, and then 4 seat is stroke seat because there's only 4 rowers. Or bow loaded just means that the coxswain, instead of being in the stern of the boat, is actually in the bow of the boat. We lay down and we're still facing forward, but all the rowers are behind us. And so the closest rower to you is still going to be 1 seat because it's the bow of the boat. So bow seat, 2 seat, 3 seat, 4 seat is stroke seat. So then we can segment like groups of rowers to speak to. We can either refer to rowers in pairs, 4s, or sets of 6 and an 8. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to talk about an 8. Everything is kind of the same, but there's half as many rowers. So in an 8, you can have seats bow and 2 are going to be your bow pair. Seats 3 and 4 don't have a fancy name. They're just 3 and 4 seat. 5 and 6 is just 5 and 6 seat. 7 and 8, you're going to call stern pair because they're located the most stern. And then you can have the 4 rowers closest to you in the stern are going to be stern 4. The 6 rowers closest to stern are going to be stern 6, and then vice versa. So the 4 closest to the bow, seats 1, 2, 3, and 4, are bow 4. The 6 closest to bow is going to be bow 6, so seats 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you had everybody, that would just be all 8, and we're not going to do that for a drill. And of course, in a 4, you can still have your stern pair and your bow pair. Seats 2 and 3 would still be called middle pair. Okay, so I glossed over that really fast. Try to make sure you're clear on that. And now let's go into calling a pick drill. So a pick drill is basically a drill that segments out the pieces of the stroke, and you only do those pieces at a time. So the pick drill can have many different iterations, so you're going to need to clarify with your coach what you're doing, because there's so many different ways of doing it, even though it's all basically the same thing. So a full standard pick drill it always starts at the release or the end of the stroke, and you do arms only rowing, and then arms and body only rowing, quarter slide, half slide, 3/4 slide, and full slide. Your coach probably isn't going to have you do all those things, so all these different ways can sound really confusing, especially on this video, but there's only one way that you're going to do it in practice. So once you know that, it's pretty simple. So for the sake of this video, we're going to assume that a pick drill is only going to be arms and body, half slide, and full slide rowing. So there now are a couple more options that we can do. We can either do the drill by 4s or by 6s, or we can do the drill like all with the entire drill with the same set of rowers, and then a different set of rowers runs through the entire drill. Or we can have just the first part of the drill, say the arms and body, and we're going to rotate through the entire boat of rowers before we change to the next part, and then we rotate through the entire set of rowers. That is up to your coach. What they want you to do is what you're going to do. So just clarify on that. I'm going to try to give you both examples. So to start, let's do, if we are doing by 4s, stern 4 rowing, and then maybe switch to straight to bow 4, and we'll do the entire thing. So that would be stern 4, we're going to have them sit at the release, and we're going to say arms and body only rowing, ready, row, and then they're going to start doing their arms and body only. What that means is that their legs are not moving. We're keeping the legs flat and the knees down, and they're just doing the arms away and the body over, and then pulling through the water the body and the arms. Either out loud or in your head, you're going to be counting to 10 strokes, because we always want to rotate through about every 10 strokes. So when you get up to about the 8th stroke is when you're going to want to give the next into command, to give rowers time to switch. So at the 8th stroke, we'll say into half slide rowing, 1, 2. That makes 10 strokes, and now they're doing half slide rowing. So we're still doing the arms and the body, but now they're coming up to half slide, and then pushing through the water and adding in the body and the arms. So now they're doing half slide rowing. You're still counting through about 8 strokes. Into full slide, 1, 2, full slide rowing. So now they're doing their full slide rowing. If I wanted to switch to bow 4 now, I don't need to weigh enough or have them sit at the release. We can just say into, switch to bow 4, arms and body only, 1, 2. Now they're doing arms and body only rowing, and I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 8th stroke into half slide, 1, 2. Now they're doing half slide, into full slide rowing, 1, 2. Now they're doing full slide rowing. So now you just went through the stern 4 and the bow 4, the whole drill. If you were to do this drill a slightly different way, we could rotate through the whole boat. So when you're rotating through by 4s, we want the set of rowers to move away from you in the 8. So starting with stern and then to middle 4 and then to bow 4, you want the group to move away. But if you are doing the drill by 6s, the easiest way to think about it is that the gap of rowers that are not rowing moves towards you. So by 6s, stern 6 starts rowing first and bow pairs out. The next pair that's out is going to be seats 3 and 4. Then the next pair that's out is going to be seats 5 and 6, and you're going to bring that gap towards you. The reason is because you want stern pair, the people who set the rhythm of the boat, to be in as long as possible. And in rotating by 4s, you just want to keep the consistency the same. So start with stern 4, they set the rhythm, and then move away from you. But in 6s, we're going to start with stern 6, and move that gap closer to you and rotate through. So in this example, let's do it by 6s, and we're also going to rotate through the whole boat before adding the next part of the drill. So we're going to start stern 6, sitting at the release, arms and body only, ready, row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Into, I'm going to switch the pairs, bow pair in, and 3, 4 out. That brings that gap closer to you. 1, 2. Now bow pair is in, 3, 4 is out, and you can keep counting on the 8th stroke. Into, 3, 4 in, 5, 6 out, 1, 2. All of these calls, like counting, you want to count either at the catch or at the release. I personally like to count or call things at the catch because I like to have that time when they're in the drive to finish what I'm saying and for them to think about what they're doing, like almost like resetting. The stroke's done, and now we can make that change on the recovery. So I like calling things at the catch. So that 1, 2, so we'll switch pairs again, into 5, 6, drop out, stern pair, add in, 1, 2, wait, did I do that right? No, I don't think I did. What's next? See, this is what happens when you're not paying attention. 3, 4, add in, 5, 6, drop out. Cool. Next is 5, 6, add in, stern pair, drop out. Now you have bow 6 rowing. So bow 6 rowing, now the gap is closest to you, and now we want to move it. You can't come any closer. So it goes back to the bow, and that means that we're going to be back at stern 6 rowing. So that is when I'm going to add in the next part of the stroke. So into, bow pair out, stern pair in, half slide. 1, 2, so they switch. Bow pair is now out. We've come back to stern 6, and they are doing half slide rowing. And I'm going to rotate through all those pairs again. When we come back to stern 6, you'll make the call that they're going to be doing full side rowing. So again, the way that's called is when you're at bow 6, and now you're going to bring it back to the stern 6 rowing. I'm going to say into, bow pair out, stern pair in, full slide rowing. 1, 2. And we're back at stern 6, and they're doing full slide. When you're done, you can weigh enough. Reverse pick drill is basically the same idea, but instead that segment of the stroke, instead of starting with the release and the arms and the body, starts with the legs. So we would start with our stern 4 or stern 6. Let's do stern 4, sitting maybe at the catch, and legs only rowing. That's if we had weighed enough and we weren't still rowing. If you guys were still rowing continuous strokes, then instead of having them sit at the catch, you would just call it like a regular switch into legs only rowing. So if we aren't rowing and everyone's weighed enough, we're going to sit stern 4 at the catch, legs only rowing, ready, row, and you're going to count through 8 strokes, and then add in the body. So this one goes legs only, legs and body, legs, body, and arm is the full stroke. So into legs and body, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, into, add in the arms, 1, 2. So now it's legs, body, and arms. It's also called full stroke. And now if I want to switch, say, to middle 4, then I can do that one of 2 ways. I can either say into stern pair, drop out, 3/4 add in. That'll be my middle 4. Or I can just say into switch to middle 4. Either way is fine. Into switch to middle 4, legs only rowing. 1, 2. Middle 4 is doing legs only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Into add in the body. 1, 2. Now they're doing legs and body. Into add the arms. 1, 2. They've done legs, body, and arms. Switch to my bow 4 by saying into legs only rowing, bow 4. 1, 2. They're going to go through the legs and body, go through the legs, body, and arms. Again, if you're doing legs only, you're not using the body or the arms. You can kind of see that they're doing that. You can kind of not tell, but that means that they're doing just their legs and their body stays forward and their arms stay locked out. And when you add the body, they're doing legs and body rowing, no arms, and then full stroke is regular rowing with legs, body, and arms, and that's when it's going to get nice and long. If you can't remember which part you're on, and I totally have forgotten, when, like, say it's bow 4 rowing and you're like, I don't remember if I already switched it, try to remember. You can ask your stroke seat, just make sure you're not on the microphone. Be like, what are we doing? Did I do legs and body yet? Or you can try to look at the length of their stroke, because just legs only or just arms and body only is a lot shorter than the rest of the stroke. So you can kind of, legs only is shorter than legs and body, which is shorter than legs, body, arms. Arms only is shorter than half slide, which is shorter than full slide. So you can kind of tell where they are, but sometimes you forget. You can ask your stroke seat if you made that call, but try to pay attention. Definitely keep focused by focusing on what stroke, what part of the stroke you're on, which pairs you've already rotated, and keep counting so that you can keep switching every pair through quickly in about 10 strokes each one. All right, that's it. Hopefully that made sense. Let me know if I'm going too fast or too slow. If you have any questions, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Cox Talks, or on YouTube, Cox Talks by Kat Scheffler, and let me know what I should do a video on next. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys.